So money.
Take this money!
Hey guys, welcome to Times 3 and Company. Today we'll be debating if money brings you happiness. Let's decide the teams.
Yes.
We have our wheel of names here. For this, couch. First member will be
Whoa, wait, what are they? Are they agreeing or disagreeing?
this couch
Yeah.
is the agree couch. And Sahil will agree that money brings you happiness.
Oh.
So get over here.
No.
Your first pick, man. Okay, the person debating Sahil that money does not bring happiness. Is Himanshu by a narrow margin. The person who will join Sahil's team You can't make this up, folks. Garan,
Let's go.
Flashback.
Let's get down to the debate.
You got this, bro. Good luck.
Round 1.
You have 2 minutes, starting now.
So, does money buy you happiness? Hell no. Because when you go and you get something from the store, it's not the money that's bringing you happiness. It's the items. You may be using that money to buy the items, but it's the fact that you're getting that item. It's the fact that you get to own something new. It's the fact that you get that experience of asking your mom or dad, "Hey dad, can I get that PS5?" It's the fact that you get that PS5 and you get to play with your friends. That's what brings you the true happiness. It's not the fact that you paid that money and then now you have a bunch of plastic junk. It's the fact that you get to play with your friends. That is what truly brings you the happiness. It's the knowledge and the feeling of owning something like that. Take it on.
Could not agree, not more. I believe that happiness isn't an item that can be bought. It's a state of mind which is achieved through tribulation and understanding of how life works. A man who does not know what suffering feels like cannot know what happiness feels like either. If you do not know the value of not being happy, you will not appreciate being happy at that given moment. So I think money doesn't play a role as much as your own mindset and your experiences in life do.
Bars.
Okay, monkey.
Okay,
How much more time do we have?
10 seconds.
Yeah, don't put that in. That was weird.
Fight.
Team Sahil, you have 2 minutes, starting now.
Hello. So, does money buy you happiness? I think it does, because your dad bought you that PS4, right? And you got really happy. How did you get happy? Because of the money. So, yes, the money buys you happiness. And you can't make those memories without money. You can't play with your friends online without money. You can't buy anything without money. And that's where your happiness comes from, right? So I think that money does buy happiness.
Alright, to follow that up, right? Even when you do play games, you require certain things in game to achieve that happiness, right? There's always more rewards you can buy in a game. How do you buy that? With money. Same thing, like Sal said, in order to even get that PS5, you needed the money to buy it. If you didn't have the money, you wouldn't have the PS5. So you wouldn't have any of those memories that you made with your friends, meaning none of that would exist without money. Money buys happiness. I think you just gotta have enough money. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think there's lots of people who don't have money, like homeless people who live every day in terrible conditions. They don't have clothes or food. And I don't think they're very happy. And I think the number one thing they'd wish for is money, not happiness. Because money will lead to that happiness.
Money buys everything in life.
Yeah.
Food, shelter, resources. Everything comes from money. Without money, we basically have nothing.
Unfortunately.
Thank you, Team Sahil. Team Vignesh, you'll have 1 minute of rebuttal. Starting now.
So, one of the points that they brought up was that homeless people don't have happiness because they don't have money, they can't buy things that they need to have fun. But why are so many rich billionaires depressed? Why do they resort to touching children? Why do they resort to having their own private islands and doing demonic things in them? It's because money saturates their mind. It overwhelms what they feel. And it ruins how they actually perceive having fun. For a middle-class person, something as sitting around a fire or a campfire and talking with their friends about their life could be the most amazing and most fun thing in the world. What does that really take? Just some wood you find around the place to make some fire. But for a billionaire, that's not going to be that fun. So they resort to doing...
Your time is up, sir.
Already? Damn.
That was a good point. I should ask.
The campfire was a good point.
Why can't billionaires also have a campfire?
Billionaires are also 1%.
That's not the point.
Okay.
Why can't they have campfires?
Team Sahil, you now have 1 minute to rebuttal. Starting now.
Okay, first of all, billionaires are less than 1% of the whole population. So using billionaires as an example is bad because take 100 people, probably none of them are going to be billionaires, but they're going to have money. That money will buy happiness. So using billionaires is not an effective example.
Billionaires can also have, just sit around and talk and have happiness.
On like private jets, on private islands, without children involved, because not all billionaires touch children, I'm sure.
Exactly. But the main point is money does buy happiness. Without money, you wouldn't be able to do anything. The only reason those middle class people are able to go out and have that camping trip is because they have money. Without money, they'd be too focused on trying to get enough money to live, fund their children, their families.
Mr. Sadie.
Bro, we had to cook them.
Final round. Fight!
For our final segment of this debate, we're going to have a 3-minute open debate between both parties. Here you go, Team Vignesh. Starting now.
I think if you want to pick point about the fact that not everyone's a billionaire, that 1% of the world population is billionaires, I think a good amount or a good section of people to look at is people who devote their lives to religious institutions. I mean, say that the PS4 example, right? You buy the PS4. How long are you going to be playing with your friends every night on that PS4? I mean, like a week, 2 weeks, I'll give you a month. Really excited, you got a PS4. But then after that, you're going to start looking for other things.
That's where money comes in and you buy something new to replace that.
But then you're
That's
just
also true.
repeating the cycle of temporary happiness.
That's
It's
how
still
life
happiness.
But it's just temporary.
But isn't that what
happiness a
everyone else is
long-term
doing?
life goal?
Everyone around you, everyone in this room, isn't that what we're doing? We are
Just 'cause everyone's doing it doesn't
devoting our
mean it's
lives
right.
to that.
Just because everyone's doing it doesn't mean it's the right thing.
Yeah, but I'm saying majority of the people do that, and that's the point. Money buys happiness. Majority of the people chase money because it buys happiness.
Let me ask you this. What is money?
Money's money.
Money is debt. You can go into debt. Why are you laughing?
Bro's in debt. How much debt are you in? Do you own money? Do you have money?
I have money.
So
but
how
I'm
much
also
debt are
in
you
debt.
in?
I'm not gonna say how much debt I'm in front of the camera, bro.
Money can get you out of debt.
But money also puts me in
And
debt.
then once you get out of debt,
But money
you're gonna
puts
be
me in debt.
happy.
So what about money putting me in debt?
You invest your money.
That's why you just gotta have enough money so you're not.
Oh, so there's a certain amount of money that can buy you happiness. So you need to reach a certain level of money in order to get that happiness. What if you're not at that level of money? Can you no longer get happiness?
You
from
can.
money?
You just chase lower levels of happiness. The
So
more
there's
money you
levels
have, the
to
happier you
happiness.
get. Yes, I agree. There's levels to happiness. If I have like $10, I buy a Mars bar and I'm happy for a little bit. If I have $100, I buy
$10.
Pokemon cards. I open Pokemon cards. I'm even happier now.
Okay. Well, money can put you in debt. Being in debt is one of the worst feelings ever. When you owe something, when you are in permanent debt. There's people who kill themselves. They commit suicide because of being in debt. Do you think they're happy? If money didn't exist, do you think people would go into debts like that?
If money didn't exist, will we exist right now? Would you have those clothes that you're wearing right now?
Yes.
What was there before money? Do you know? Bartering and gold. Money was a promise given to the people.
So just a different form of money. Essentially. So it's just money, but it's not money.
Money
Well,
is-
but then would you be saying that in the days where cattle was a huge resource, that cattle buys you happiness?
Would you say cattle's money?
Would you say
In
cattle
that
buys you
context, yeah.
happiness?
In that
Cattle,
context.
cattle buys you happiness.
Money is value too.
Money has
No,
value.
money's given value by our
It's given.
institutions.
There you
And cattle was
Also
given
given
value,
value.
too.
Yeah, but it had far more value back in the day. So would you hold the same argument that cattle buys you happiness?
For sure.
How much cattle would it take to buy you happiness?
I don't know what cattle's worth. But I do know. Is it a,
What level of happiness would it buy
Gentlemen, your time is up. And we've definitely gone on the rails.
Yeah, that was big.
Okay.
What is money?
Let me do my final calculations because I scored each round in those.
Scored each round.
Gentlemen, with the final average score of 7.33, Team Sahil, you have won the debate.
No surprise.
Tell us in the chat.
So money doesn't buy you happiness.
We meet again. We meet again. So, money, huh? Money. Take this money.
GG.